Hello, the topic of today's video is analyzing other individuals, analyzing their behaviors so you can predict them, so you will basically always be a step ahead of them. You'll be able to understand exactly what they're doing at any particular moment. Here's your main strats in terms of wanting to do that. Now, I will have to give this forewarning. This strategy is not going to, these strats that I'm going to be giving you, they're going to be blocked by other super intelligent people. So you're only going to work against people who are not super intelligent. Again, if you don't understand what super intelligence is, kind of watch my other, videos. Super intelligence is basically just a whole other class of intelligence that this channel is designed to help you unlock. Now, so these techniques, if you want to analyze someone who's super intelligent, we'll get into that in later videos. That's very, very complicated. It's mostly, improvisation, and very, very high level strategies that take hours and hours and hours to explain, particularly to someone who's not already of super intelligence. Now, these strategies I'm going to give you are going to work on non-super intelligent people, and these strats, they're mainly based around classification schematics. You're basically wanting to analyze someone. You basically need to slot them into some sort of classification that you're going to create, and you're going to slot everyone you ever meet into one of these classifications. And then from there, you're going to be able to, if X person who's also in this classification did this in this situation, you're basically going to be able to understand that, this person's always going to do that, or they're going to act similarly. Based on aggregate, you're going to have a massive book of every single person's behavior, where they map, and what you expect them to do at any given moment, based on everything else you've ever seen from other people of the same class and other classes. And also the class are going to have relationships to one another you're going to learn to understand. Now, this is basically should be a video about getting some of those schematics. I'm going to give you some of the best strats to classifying people. They're going to be basic. They're going to be, these first videos on this channel are about foundational material, foundations of becoming super intelligent. And so these strats, you're going to have to develop them more and more particular for your own needs, for your own geography, for your own people you're dealing with, with your own, personal feelings, whatever. You need to get particular, but these are going to be like the bread and butter strats that are going to work for you. They're going to be very basic. Now, the way these strats are going to work is I'm going to tell you basically some subtle behavior you're going to give off, and you're going to basically look at your interlocutor in the conversation and see what, micro behaviors they give off, micro reactions to what you're saying, what you're doing, how they react, and then based on those micro reactions, you're going to basically be able to slot them into something. Okay. So this first behavior is this is basically a basic neuroticism spectrum. It's basically going to be able to plot someone based on their own personal neuroticism, and your behavior is basically going to be, you're just going to rub your nose here. You're not going to put your fingers inside of your nose. You're basically just going to put your fingers here, and you're going to kind of subtly act like you're going to put it in your nose, but not exactly. You're going to kind of just edge it a little. You're going to edge it like this. And then basically what you're going to look for is to what degree the other person, they strain their eyebrows and perhaps their lips as well. Basically this is going to give you a look into how upset these people are by either, basically the perfectionism level, the neuroticism level, their, I guess, a health conscientiousness level. It's going to give you a basic schematic of that. Basically, if they're like, and they're not even going to realize, it's going to be very subtle behaviors. For just a brief moment, you see them kind of strain or just a little uneasy. On a high level, they're like, then that means they're a very highly neurotic person, highly disgusted by basic things. But if they're kind of like, you're kind of indifferent, then they're like a very non-neurotic person, very, unperturbed by these sorts of things. Now, that's the first schematic. That's the first schematic I don't know. I don't really have a name for these. Maybe this is nose edging, whatever. The next schematic is going to involve, basically, I call it the G glance. You're basically going to glance very subtly and very quietly down towards the individual's waist. And you're basically going to see if they notice. You're going to see if they notice, and if they notice, how pronounced their reaction is. You're basically going to get a very slight, subtle glance to their waist, nothing in particular, just to their waist. And you're going to see if they notice at all. And if they notice immediately, that means they are what word would I describe? I don't want to say conscientious. I would say perhaps, I think conscientious is a good word. I think they're very in tune, and they're very alert. They're very energetic, perhaps. Yeah, basically more their own social awareness, social conscientiousness, social alertness. That's what it's going to tell you. And obviously, if they never seem to notice, then that's going to tell you that they're not very socially aware. Now the final schematic is basically going to this is basically going to tell you a basic defensiveness score in terms of how defensive they are and how upsettable they are, how unagreeable they are. Basically, what you're going to do is you're going to ask them basically a very personal, upsetting question. So, for instance, if they had a family member who recently died, you can ask them, did you contribute at all to your family member's death? And then if they don't, and basically as soon as the question escapes your lips, and make sure it's a brief to the point question. Make sure it's a brief to the point question, and as soon as you do that, you're counting your head. Okay, did your mother, did you have anything to do with her heart attack? And as soon as heart attack comes out, you're counting your head. 1, 2, 3. And basically you want to see how long until they respond. If they respond within 1, they are a very unagreeable, upsettable, I don't want to say angry, but they basically are. They are a very person who's just not good. They're just not very accommodating. They're going to take everything the worst way possible. And if they, if you're counting like 1, 2, 3, 4, and they, 4 seconds, they give you a very reasoned, responsible answer. If it's 4 seconds or more, basically you're dealing with someone who's like, who's very secure, who is not going to take things as its life. They're very trusting of you, and basically between those two, they take 2 seconds. They're kind of in the middle. 1 second, they're further on the other side. Blah blah blah. Basically, those are the schematics to understanding their own basic, how upsettable they are, essentially. And so those are my 3 schematics we're gonna give you today. That obviously there's more. I'll do more in later videos, I'm sure. But those 3 should get you started. You can develop your own from there. These 3. I'm just giving you these 3. Obviously, I have like 50 I'm using in any conversation, but these 3 are like the most tried and true, the most foolproof. They're going to work on basically everyone you're ever going to meet, as long as they're not super intelligent. So I would say I hope you enjoyed, but I don't really care if you enjoyed. Bye bye.